This man is the mastermind who cracked the casino code like no one else ever imagined. A genius who outwitted slot machines for nearly 2 decades, orchestrating daring casino heists across the globe. In his first Vegas heist, he astonishingly walked away with $10,000, armed with an arsenal of ingenious devices like the monkey paw, light wand, and the tongue. As technology evolved, so did his craft. Teaming up with fellow con artist Balsamo, the duo swindled Las Vegas out of millions. Despite being nabbed twice in Vegas and once in Atlantic City, his notoriety only grew, earning him the title of America's most wanted casino cheat, along with a lifetime ban from every casino. But who is this man? How did he orchestrate these incredible schemes? What cunning tactics did he employ? And what astonishing journey led him to outsmart the system? Join us as we unravel the riveting story of the greatest casino cheater in American history. Tommy Glenn Carmichael was born on July 5, 1950, and grew up in Oklahoma during a time of rapid technological advancement. From a young age, he was fascinated by how things worked, especially technology. This curiosity led him to establish a television repair and merchandise shop in the 1980s. Operating under the name Ace TV Sales and Service, Carmichael's business boomed. It was the first of its kind in the area, but as competition increased, his shop struggled to keep up and revenue plummeted. At the same time, his personal life was in turmoil, facing his third divorce and fulfilling community service obligations for prior drug possession convictions. Carmichael saw his business on the brink of collapse. Yet, he wasn't about to give up. His tale isn't just about pressing buttons on a machine. It's about a man who discovered a way to beat the odds. Then came an unexpected twist. Enter Ray Ming, Carmichael's high school friend, who showed up with an offer that would change everything. Ming popped open his car trunk and told Carmichael to take a look. Inside was a slot machine, along with a tool cheaters used, the top-bottom joint. Carmichael took the machine apart, studying every piece, every mechanism. He wanted to understand how it worked, so he could break it. After weeks of practice, he was ready to test his skills in a real casino. But how did the cheating tool actually work? Older slot machines were simple. They relied on mechanical discs that had to align perfectly to trigger a jackpot payout. But by the time Carmichael set foot in Las Vegas, everything had gone digital. Newer slot machines used circuit boards, meaning that instead of aligning mechanical parts, the key to triggering a jackpot was completing an electrical circuit. Most gamblers relied on luck. But Carmichael and his crew relied on something else: ingenuity. Here's where the top-bottom joint came into play. The bottom piece, a bent guitar string, was inserted into the coin dispenser, touching the circuit board inside. The top piece, shaped like the number 9, was stuck into the coin slot, completing the circuit. Once the circuit was complete, the machine dumped out coins, thinking it had hit jackpot mode. Carmichael and his crew walked away richer every time. He bounced between Tulsa and Las Vegas every few months, running casinos dry before heading home to check on his repair shop. But each time he returned, his business was doing worse, until, eventually, he shut it down for good. From that moment on, Tommy Glenn Carmichael wasn't just a TV repairman. He was a full-time casino cheat. His first try at the trick was on a nickel slot machine. Within minutes, he won $35. The next week, he scaled up to bigger machines, and by the end of his first real cheating spree, he walked away with over $10,000. For nearly 20 years, Carmichael stole millions from casinos without getting caught. But his easy money days were numbered. Vegas evolved, replacing old machines with high-tech versions featuring computer screens and advanced security chips. His trusty guitar string trick was obsolete, but Carmichael wasn't done. He knew he needed to adapt, to outthink the casinos once more. The thrill of the game, the constant challenge of staying ahead, kept him going. He wasn't just beating the casinos anymore. He was keeping up with the relentless march of technology. However, Las Vegas wasn't the only one evolving. Casinos introduced random number generators, RNGs, sophisticated software that eliminated predictable patterns. These new machines were too smart for Carmichael's old tricks. So, he shifted his operations to smaller gambling spots, places that hadn't yet caught up with Vegas's advanced security. But this risky move made it easier for law enforcement to track him. They had been watching him for a while. One sunny afternoon, Carmichael decided to take a break in the parking lot of a Denny's. He sat back, enjoying his coffee, completely unaware that a team of police officers was closing in. Within minutes, the peaceful atmosphere shattered. The officers rushed in, surrounding him. They searched his pockets, and there it was, a top-bottom joint. Carmichael insisted it was a car tool, but his past crimes worked against him. With a history of drug offenses and minor charges, the legal system wasn't going to let him off easy. This time, he wasn't walking away with a jackpot. Instead, he was sentenced to 5 years behind bars. Most people, after serving time in prison, would turn over a new leaf. But not Tommy Glenn Carmichael. In 1985, while behind bars, Carmichael met Michael Balsamo, a fellow inmate who was there for similar reasons, cheating casinos. The two men bonded over their shared past and started scheming. For months, they studied casino technology, planning their next big move for when they got out. But by the time they were released, the gambling industry had evolved. Slot machines had become more advanced, making their old tricks obsolete. Yet, that didn't deter them. What casinos didn't realize was that these two masterminds were preparing for a fresh start. With determination and a few new tricks, they were about to kick off a new era of deception, one that would shake the casino world once again. Just before Carmichael's release, a new breed of slot machines had hit the market, video poker. Created by International Game Technology, IGT, these machines were a game changer, featuring advanced microprocessors and random number generators, RNGs, that made them harder to manipulate. Carmichael knew that to beat the game, he had to understand it first. But there was a problem. He didn't have money. Unlike his past, where he could steal his way into wealth, this time he had to do things the ordinary way, by getting minimum wage jobs. He worked tirelessly for 6 months, saving every penny until he could afford to buy a video poker machine for himself. This wasn't just a slot machine. It was his new puzzle, and he was determined to crack it. For an entire year, Carmichael tinkered, tested, and experimented. He tried everything, studying the internal mechanisms of the machine. Then, finally, he had his breakthrough. His invention? The monkey paw. Made from guitar wire and flexible spring steel, this tool was inserted into the payout chute. When placed just right, it triggered a switch that made the machine think a jackpot had been won. Coins poured out, and Carmichael walked away richer, without actually winning. It was his masterpiece, and he was ready to put it to the test. With the monkey paw in hand, Carmichael returned to Las Vegas. He walked into a casino, approached a video poker machine, and slid the device into place. Click. The switch activated, and coins spilled out like a broken ATM. It worked. The thrill of outsmarting the casino ignited something inside him. He was back in action. But casinos were not clueless. The monkey paw's success was just the beginning of a cat-and-mouse game between Carmichael and the industry. Security measures were tightening, but he was always one step ahead. As casinos upgraded their machines, Carmichael needed an edge. So he came up with a brilliant plan. He pretended to be a customer interested in buying the latest slot machines. He sweet-talked a casino employee into opening one up, claiming he wanted to see how it worked before making a purchase. This simple deception gave him all the information he needed. With newfound knowledge, he developed his next deadly weapon, the light wand. Slot machines were smarter now, using optical sensors instead of mechanical parts. But Carmichael's light wand was smarter. This device used light pulses to trick the sensors into thinking coins were being inserted, causing an endless payout. This time, he didn't just use it for himself, he sold it on the black market. Cost to make, $3. Selling price, $10,000 each. Soon, cheaters all over the Vegas Strip were using Carmichael's invention. He was no longer just beating the system, he was arming an army of cheaters. With millions rolling in, Carmichael took a 6-month break, traveling on luxury gambling cruises to the Caribbean, where he used his light wand to win nearly $100,000. But when he returned to Nevada, he had even bigger plans. He reunited with Michael Balsamo and recruited Raymond David Pereira, forming a cheating empire. They weren't just a team, they were a machine. The crew became highly organized. Cheaters used the tools. Lookouts scanned for security. Blockers positioned themselves to shield cameras from detecting the cheating. This method allowed them to swindle Las Vegas casinos for $5 million every other day. They expanded their operation to Atlantic City, hitting almost every major casino on the Strip. During this time, Carmichael also fell for a woman, a stripper named Lisa Luxem, whom he met in a Vegas casino. But his world was about to crash down. One day, Balsamo got caught. Security confiscated his cheating device and turned it over to the FBI. When agents traced his phone records, one name popped up again and again, Tommy Glenn Carmichael. The Nevada Gaming Control Board and FBI agents teamed up. They tapped Carmichael's phone. He had no idea they were listening. Meanwhile, casinos launched Ticket In, Ticket Out, TITO machines, eliminating coin payouts. The light wand was useless. Carmichael refused to give up. He bought a Tito machine, determined to crack it. Months of work led to his next invention, the tongue. These new machines used optical sensors to count inserted coins. Coins passed 3 light beams inside the machine. Carmichael discovered that only the middle light needed to blink for the machine to think a coin had been inserted. He designed the tongue, a tool that mimicked this process, making the machine believe hundreds of coins were deposited in seconds. The result? Thousands in free-playing credits. It was his masterpiece, but his luck wouldn't last forever. Casinos intensified security. Investigators got closer. Finally, in 1996, Carmichael and his crew targeted Circus Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It would be his last heist. The net was closing. The FBI, the Nevada Gaming Commission, and casino security were all watching him closely. The game was almost over. Little did they know, their lucky streak was about to come to an abrupt end. The casino had been watching them closely, and their days of easy winnings were numbered. Confident in their schemes, the group went ahead with their plan, unaware that the walls were closing in. In 1996, as they were in the middle of cheating a machine, security guards swiftly moved in and arrested them. Unbeknownst to Carmichael, the casino had upgraded its surveillance with advanced cameras that could see past the blockers. The technology that had once been his greatest asset was now his downfall. This time, there was no escape. The mastermind who had outwitted casinos for years found himself on the receiving end of justice. He was charged with possession and manufacture of cheating devices, but to everyone's surprise the evidence wasn't strong enough. Within 24 hours, he was released. It seemed like another narrow escape, but trouble had a way of finding Carmichael. In 1998, he was arrested again. Then, in 1999, yet another arrest followed. This time, the law was determined to hold him accountable. Each arrest brought him closer to the end of his reign as one of the most notorious casino cheats in history. By the year 2000, the game was finally over. Carmichael was implicated in a massive, nationwide cheating scheme that left authorities with no choice but to bring him down. This time, there were no loopholes, no quick exits. He was sentenced to 326 days in jail and placed on 3 years of probation. As part of his sentence, he was banned from entering any casino until his probation period ended. This marked a turning point in his story. The thrill of deception had finally caught up with him, and the price was steep. With his name tarnished and his freedom limited, Carmichael had to make a choice: continue down the same path or turn his knowledge into something legitimate. Rather than disappear, he did something unexpected. He switched sides. Carmichael began working as a consultant for casino security, using his expertise to help identify and prevent cheating. He even collaborated with the Nevada Gaming Commission to develop an anti-cheating device for slot machines. In 2003, he introduced his most successful invention, the Protector, a device designed to block cheating tools. But his past was not so easily erased. Nevada Deputy Attorney General Jennifer Carvalho expressed doubts, stating, "He says he has developed an anti-cheating device for slot machines. However, that device can be readily converted to a cheating device." His past continued to haunt him, and the Nevada Gaming Commission wasn't willing to take any chances. Despite his claims of reformation, they added him to Nevada's infamous Black Book, a list of individuals permanently banned from all casinos in the state. Carmichael didn't take this lightly, responding, "They cannot stand the thought of me righting a wrong and possibly making a little money off it." Even though he insisted he had changed, his reputation preceded him. He boldly claimed, "I could beat them in a heartbeat if I wanted to." But this confidence came with a price. No matter how much he tried to leave his past behind, the casinos weren't willing to let him back in. Carmichael's story became legendary in the world of casino security. His life was a mix of brilliance, crime, and redemption. A man who once bent the rules, now helping to enforce them. His legacy was one of both ingenuity and consequence, serving as a reminder that the battle between cheaters and casinos would never truly end. On February 1st, 2019, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Tommy Glenn Carmichael's story came to its final chapter. At the age of 68, the man who had spent his life outsmarting the system quietly passed away. His name still lingers in casino circles, a symbol of both the thrill of deception and the inevitable price of getting caught. His life was a roller coaster, one that started with illegal genius, spiraled into arrests, and ended with an attempt at redemption. In the end, his story wasn't just about beating slot machines. It was about the relentless game between those who try to cheat the system and those who fight to keep it fair. Even in death, Carmichael's legacy remains a cautionary tale for both casinos and those daring enough to think they can outsmart them. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel.